character, our hero as well. But Byblis is here. We have her full kit. This is from username sniped. And just in case, guys, anytime we talk about, early data mine reveals information, nothing against username sniped or anyone that comes up with this info, but just always take these with a grain of salt. Not to say they're going to be fake or fabricated. We have had fakes in the past of unit reveals, things like that. But if this is indeed true, Smilegate still may tweak some numbers. Smilegate still might change some things up by the time they do their official reveal, right? So just always take that into consideration when you read these or watch these. But yeah, I'll have this linked for y'all in the description below if you want to review it after. But let's go ahead and check this out together. So we did know she was an Ice Pisces Ranger. This is Katie's sister, so we have some more background information here. Let's see what else we got. Here's the awakening stats as well. 120 speed. It's just something after we saw her artifact yesterday, which let me pull up here real fast, guys. I'll probably refer to this a few times. We have the old gardening shears, right, which was revealed. This thing is kind of like a hybrid guiding light, but also provides some debuffs here. So when she uses her skill 3, as well as it'll proc, you'll see here in a second, off her skill 2, she will inflict additional debuffs, right? Anything that's not a basic skill when you're using an AoE. And the debuffs also are decreased attack, decreased speed, and healable in silence. And you'll see why these don't overlap. She will have some debuffs in her own kit. But let's go ahead and go back to the skill set real fast. Keep going down here. Memory imprints. She's going to have imprint release health. And then for herself, she can get some boosted effectiveness, which I imagine once you guys see the full kit, effectiveness will definitely make sense. Moving right along, we have the first skill, Floral Arrangement. And this might look similar to some of y'all. I think this originated with Angel Light Angelica, but a few other units, I believe, have had this almost same exact skill, if not a straight copy paste. But let's read here. So we have 10 effect chance plus an additional 15, bringing us to 25 additional. So attacks the enemy with a magical flower with a 75% chance to silence for 1 turn. After attacking, if the target is inflicted with silence, decreases combat readiness of the target by 20%. Very, very powerful skill 1. So a super strong skill 1 that a lot of times, units will have fillers of skill 1. This can definitely make or break games. It's just such a strong utility ability. Not only just for the silence, but even the combat readiness push sometimes will win you a match alone. Moving right along here, we have the skill 2. Now, this is kind of her trademark, I think. She's going to wear, this makes her really unique here. When an ally suffers a counterattack, so she's going to be an anti-counterattack unit, it activates I'm Warning You. Can only be activated once per turn. I'm Warning You says attacks all enemies, decreasing buff duration by 1 turn, rip immunity, and has a 50% chance with an additional 5, 9, what is this here, 20 guys? So 70% chance to defense break for 2 turns. 2 turns defense break is really nice. 70% chance to defense break, guys, is not, that is some RNG. If we look at units like Tywin, for example, who also has an AoE defense break, AoE stun, things like that. I believe Tywin, though, is the chance for the stun isn't 100%. But regardless, anytime you have debuffs that aren't 100%, and 70 is a little bit low, it's not even like 80, it does sometimes feel bad. However, a 2-turn defense break can sometimes decide a match on its own. And on top of that, I expect if we bring her in the right scenario, right, against units that will be counterattacking, the fact that this is once per turn and she has some combat readiness built into her kit, I think we will see a lot of chances. The fact that it's AoE, 70% chance, it's going to be sticking on certain units, right? And then if we build effectiveness too, there won't be too many units, I think, that we won't cover besides maybe the most dedicated Knights and Soul Weavers with very high effect resist or protected by the new SC Christie coming out, right? Moving right along, though, skill 3, Larunda's Hospitality, which, by the way, guys, Larunda is the family head, right? Her and Katie's sisters, that's their family name. Attacks all enemies with a specially prepared gift, decreasing buff durations by 1 turn again. Okay, so if you do a skill 3, they counterattack, and then you lead into the skill 2, you actually can decrease buff durations by 2 turns, right? Within the single instance of abilities, and decreases hit chance. So this is why I was talking, guys. The blind here stacks nicely with her artifact if you want to run the artifact. I'm not sure what we're gonna do yet. Some guildmates were kind of shout out to Nori. He was theory crafting some stuff, which I'll show you all in a second if we have extra time to talk about things. But yeah, if you do end up using the guarding shears, you'll have a blind on top of decreased attack, a decreased speed, and healable or silence, right? Whatever activates there. Oops, sorry guys. Did not mean to click that. But moving along here, we also get a barrier for all allies for 2 turns, and the barrier strength will increase proportional to the target's health. And I believe if we keep going down, let's before I go there, here's a we got a screenshot here of the file not found. It's not added yet with the sandbag for the damage or the skill tests. We have the Acades friendly relationship here. Byblis wonders why Acades decided to run out of her sheltered environment when she's a coward who can't even do her job properly. Dang, there's some sister rivalry going on. Byblis is kind of talking bad about poor Acades there. But we have some power or attack scaling ratios for the skill 1, which shouldn't be too important. I don't imagine most players are going to use Byblis as a heavy damage dealer. You might see some hybrids. There also could be some cleave-oriented styles if you want to try to proc a counter and then fish for a 70% defense break, but I feel like that might be risky. We'll talk more about that in a sec, what I think her playstyle will be, or at least what I'm going to plan for her. But the skill 2 proc rate, we have this as well. I wonder if people will build some damage. And then skill 3, we have the barrier strength, which is going to be 25% of max health. And also the username Snipe says no info yet on Blooming Litica. Okay, so that's kind of wraps it up in a nutshell, guys. Tell me what you all think so far, and I'll continue from here. My thought process overall, I was worried after seeing her artifact yesterday that she was going to be, you know, the typical Ranger opener with the 120 speed, right? That still can be built pretty dang fast. And then she would have some skills similar to like maybe Lua or Knockwall, some kind of, you know, heavy debilitating debuff, skill resets, ignore effect resist, whatever it might be. I think the opposite is quite true here, though, that she's more actually less an opener and more of a utility support. Obviously, her mainstay, right, like I mentioned during the skill 2, is the anti-counterattack, maybe similar to like Astro Elena, where I think in like maybe a standardish versus standard match, she'll come out near the end, and once your opponent has enough counterattacks, she'll either force a ban or be highly effective. Now, I think there's one unit that most players are assuming that this was brought out for, and the unit that's been kind of running RT at the moment has been Abyssal Euphine. The interesting thing is, though, Abyssal Euphine will cleanse herself right upon reaching full fighting spirit. And yes, decreased defense break is very strong against Abyssal Euphine, but with the fact that a lot of them are just so tanky, have lifesteal, will cleanse themselves upon reaching fighting spirit. And by the way, guys, unfortunately for Byblis, she's not going to be like a true Abyssal Euphine counter. She still might be okay. But I think Euphine, it's actually not that bad of a matchup because you're going to be feeding Euphine a lot of fighting spirit, just hitting her if she counterattacks, right? Which is where we're going to get this proc from. She's getting fighting spirit as well. And then additionally, you know, a lot of Euphines have some support. So unless you can capitalize on the defense break immediately, that might get cleansed. She might have a defense buff from like a Ocean Breeze Lulika or something. And then of course at 100 fighting spirit, she's just going to cleanse the decreased defense or whatever other debuffs you land between her artifact if you run it and then the blind. So Euphine in itself isn't that good, but I think for a lot of other counters, this could be great. Remember though, this doesn't work versus, you know, the recently buffed Malona, Lone Crescent Bologna, because that's not a true counter. So, right, anything that it has to be a true counter and nothing like Lone Crescent Bologna or Blue Bologna, Summer Bologna, right? But yeah, I think overall she's going to be built more as like a tanky support. So we probably don't even need like Rengars. Sorry, what am I saying? We don't need Guiding Light. Instead, we could run her artifact. And then last thing I wanted to show y'all right here is one of my guildmates was showing me Iron Fan. This could be an interesting tech with the fact that she has so much AoE, right? On her skill 2 and her skill 3. The recently changed Iron Fan could be kind of fun. She would proc so much combat readiness that maybe we could just cycle her extremely quick, get back into that skill 3, and her skill 1 is pretty powerful, so we could see a lot of that. But I don't know. This might just be fun stuff. We'll see where she truly lands here in a little bit. All right, I'll just scroll through some of these Reddit comments real fast while we close this out. I don't want to speculate or talk too much here. We'll wait for that full official release. But overall, like I said, I think I'm glad she's not, you know, another opener, mega speed, Lua style unit. Instead, she's kind of brought out to answer a specific meta. And, you know, it seems like she's not going to be extremely busted, which is good. But then I think a lot of players are also thinking, yeah, right here, she might be a little bit underwhelming overall. But I do think she is going to be pretty versatile. So I think a lot of players, different players will be able to run her, and having her just as a toolkit might be nice. Now, what I am curious to see, though, and the last thing I'll leave y'all with, is I'm wondering if she or if the Lidica unit are going to be limited, or maybe both. So if this does look interesting to you guys, I would start saving your bookmarks. If you plan to run her artifact, don't forget here, let me pull it up here real quick, that if you want to get the full stealth chance, unless they change it, right, you will need multiple copies of this as well. So maybe start saving those bookmarks for her and Lidica, especially if they end up being limited units. And yeah, hopefully she will kind of shake things up, or at least provide some relief to the counterattack meta that we're currently in. So thank you so much guys for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.